Hello there and welcome to Luminar NEO Academy, the show where we teach you how to get the most out of this photo editing application. Now, if you've never been here before, my name is Jakub and I'm a creator and founder here at Clever Photographer. Now, before we're going to start, I have a few things I want to cover. First of all, at the end of the video, we're going to give you access to our popular Luminar NEO shortcut cheat sheet. So if you want to get that, make sure you stay until the end. Also, if you want to follow me along and do the edit on your own computer, make sure that you jump into the description, click on the link there and download the sample files. Also, if you do not own Luminar NEO, make sure you use the link in the description together with the discount code so you can get the best deal on your new purchase. And finally, we would like to ask you to please like, comment and share on this video. And also don't forget to subscribe to our channel so we can keep creating content like this. In this video tutorial, I'm going to show you how to add butterflies to your images in Luminar NEO. Now we're going to use overlays for this, and I'm going to show you the basics of layer editing. I will also teach you how to defocus and transform your layers. And finally, I'll show you my new favorite gray layer trick. So as you can see, we are back in Luminar NEO, we are in the catalog module, and we are looking at the sample files for this episode. So we have the image we're going to be working on. We also have 3 overlays of the butterflies, and we have a gray layer. Now, if you want to download the sample files and follow me along, all you need to do is to jump into the description of this video, click on the link there and download the sample files so you can do the edit on your own computer. Now, before we're going to start, just a quick reminder that you can get over 850 elements, just like these beautiful butterflies, in our brand new Luminar NEO Power Bundle. If you want to find out more about it, make sure you head to our website cleverphotographer.com or follow the link in the description. So that is out of the way, and now we can jump into the editing. So we're going to start by selecting the photo, and now you can hit E on your keyboard or click on the edit button on the top of your screen to bring the image into the edit module. From here, the first thing we need to do is to bring our elements in Luminar NEO. So our focus is going to the layers panel on the left side of the screen, and specifically the plus button. We click on that, and that will open another screen. What we're looking for is the load image button. So we click on that, and that will open the Explorer. Now we have to navigate to the sample files and to the butterflies folder. We can't select multiple overlays, so we need to do it one by one. Let's select the first one, click on open, and it actually goes quite fast, so we can just do it very quickly. Load image, butterfly number 2, again, load image, butterfly number 3. And to finish it off, let's click on load image. Let's go one step back and select the gray layer. Now we can click on open and we have all the elements ready. So what we're going to do with the image? The idea is that we're going to place one butterfly on her hand and then multiple flying butterflies around her. And finally, to finish it off, we're going to add some nice effect on the overall image. So first of all, we're going to use the butterfly with the legs because we want to place it on her hand. So what we need to do, we need to click on my images and then click on the butterfly with the leg. Now, when we apply the new layer, 2 things happen. Number 1, we get the layer on our layers panel, where you can see that we have our original image here and we have our butterfly here. The next thing happen is that we get the layer properties panel on our toolbar. You can see by default, the overlay gets stretched across the whole image, and also the overlay get applied with 50% opacity. So the first thing we want to do is to increase the opacity to 100. So we can see nice and clearly the butterfly. Now let's just make it smaller. And now let's talk about the transformation. So what are the different options we have here? Anytime we select the layer, it gets this blue frame around it with the little white dots in a corner. The white dots can be used to adjust the size of the overlay or adjust the size of the layer by keeping the same ratio as the original ratio of the element. Now, when you hover over the sides of the element or sides of the overlay, you can see that we get the different arrows. And by doing that, you can adjust the height or the width of the element individually. Finally, when you hover with your mouse outside of the overlay or element, you will get the round arrows and you can use them to rotate the overlay and element around. Now let's go back. So let's bring it back straight and let's continue adjusting the size so it looks a little bit more natural. And once we're happy, we can leave it that way. Finally, there are two more ways of how you can transform your layer, and that's to use the flip options. They are in your layer properties, just under the opacity slider and blend mode drop box, and you can use the flip horizontally. So when you click on that, it actually flips the layer horizontally, or you can use the flip vertically option. So it's really up to you what you want to do with the overlay. So first thing first, let's adjust the size of the butterfly. And now it's very much an artistic decision to see where is he going to sit. So let's make it smaller. And for this, we need to zoom in. So let's use Command or Control plus and zoom in until we like it. We can also use a space bar to drag and drop around the image. Now let's have a look at the butterfly. Let's make him a little bit smaller and just place him nicely, realistically on her hand. When we want to double check, we can use Command 0 or Control 0 to zoom out. I think we want it a little bit bigger. Maybe something like this would do. So again, zoom in, adjust the position and leave it. So we can zoom out and we have the first butterfly here. Now we're gonna add multiple butterflies in. So let's click on plus sign and we're gonna select one or the other. So let's start with this butterfly. We click on it. It takes a few moments and it gets applied to the image. Now, after it gets applied, again, it drops on the top of our layer panel. And the workflow will be exactly the same. Increase the opacity, adjust the size, and then transform it and position it wherever we like it. Now, because this is a little bit time consuming, I'm gonna import maybe 7 or 8 butterflies. I'm gonna fast forward and then I'll catch you there. So as you can see, I managed to import 8 butterflies and they are pretty much ready on our image. Now let's use what we learned about the transformation and move them around. First thing first, how do you actually select the layers? So you can go through the layer panel and go between the different butterflies and different layers. But you can also just click on them directly on the image and select them. You will know that you have selected the element because it will get the blue frame around it. So let's use that and let's just move them randomly around, following the idea of the depth that the bigger the butterfly, the closer to the camera is, the smaller it is, the further it is. So let's just place it around. And I think maybe something like this will do. Now, because I want to show you how to use some masking with the layers, we will place one of the butterflies behind the girl. So not behind, but let's say that it's going to be flying around her face. No, let's do this one. We will make him small and place him just behind her hair. So something like this. Now, not only that that's a good example of how to use masking, it will also add another sense of depth. So let's jump into it. Let's zoom in on the butterfly. Again, using a spacebar to move around. And let's just make the butterfly a little bit bigger. And we're gonna rotate it a little bit. So we're gonna hide part of it behind her hair. To start with, it's good to bring the opacity of the layer down so we can see what's behind it. So let's say something like this. We are somewhere around 26. Then we can go into the masking. And for this example, we're gonna use a brush. Now in the brush, we have 2 options, paint and erase. So we know that we want to erase part of the butterfly, so we're going to click on erase. Then we need to adjust the size of the brush, which I think maybe somewhere around 132 will do. And then we need to adjust the softness. We really want to go low on this thing, somewhere around 10 will do to start with. With the strength, let's start with 90. I think it will be a good idea to zoom even further. So again, using Command or Control plus. And that's about it. Now we can brush away part of the butterfly. So let's do that. Nice and slow, so we don't go too much over the board. And let's see what we get. I think that looks pretty good. Anyway, it's not going to be as visible from far. So let's just bring part of it back. Maybe make the size a little bit smaller and just brush over certain parts to make it a little bit more realistic. I think that's about it. Now we can go out of the brush. We can go back to our properties and just increase the opacity of the butterfly. Now, when we zoom out by using Command or Control 0, you see that the butterfly is nicely flying behind the head of the girl. So that's perfect. So we have all of this ready. We can, of course, use a little bit more transformation. We can, for example, select this butterfly and then just push his side a little bit. So it looks a little bit more like he's flying. So we can rotate it around. And really, you can take as much time as you want to adjust it and make it as beautiful as possible. So that was the transformation. And now we need to touch up on the depth. So once again, the bigger butterflies would be closer to the camera and they would be more in focus. The smaller butterflies further from the camera, they should be a little bit blurry or soft. So how do we do that? Now, in the last or past versions of Luminar, there used to be the defocus slider. However, there isn't one in Luminar NEO yet. So I'll show you a little trick of how we can add a little blur to these elements. So let's just say that we're gonna make 2 or 3 of the butterflies really small. So this one, and maybe this one. Make it really small. And those are the 3 we're going to make nice, soft, and blurry. So how are we going to do this? There are actually 3 tools we can use for this. Structure AI, Glow tool, and Details tool. So we have the butterfly selected and we can move into our essential tools. Starting with the Structure AI, let's open it and let's jump into the amount and bring it all the way down to -100. Now we can close it by applying it to the image and move to the details. Here in the details, bring small details to -100, medium details to -100, and large details to -100. Again, we can close it and apply it to the image. Finally, we're going to move our attention towards the glow. And the glow tool has different options in a type. And what I prefer to use is the Orton FX Soft. So we click on that. And what we need to do is to increase the amount to 100. After we do that, you can see that the butterfly become brighter. So to adjust that, we need to open the advanced setting, and you can do that by clicking on the little arrow. And there is an option called softness. So you increase that all the way to the 100, and on the brightness, you bring it down to somewhere about 90 or 95. Just something that it's going to look the same like before. So that's perfect. So we get nice blurred butterfly here and nice in focus butterfly here. So this is it for this one. So the workflow you already seen, but let's do it again. We click on our layer properties, then we click on another butterfly, and now we do it a little faster so you can see that it can be done really nice and fast. Structure AI tool, -100. Details, -100 times 3. And then glow, in the glow, and in the type, Orton FX Soft, amount 100, softness 100, and brightness, depending on what you prefer, I think somewhere around -95 works very well. So that was this butterfly. And finally, the third and small one, quick one, structure -100, details, and glow. Perfect. So now I think the picture looks very, very nice. However, what I like to do, anytime I add a new elements to my image, I like to put a fresh new layer on the top of it just to melt and blend everything together. So how we can do this? Well, if we would be working in Photoshop, there would be a command called merge layers, and that would basically merge the layers on the top of it, and we could edit it from there. However, at the moment, there is an option like this in Luminar NEO, so we have 2 options here. First one is to export the picture in the highest possible quality by using TIFF and high resolution, bring it back into Luminar NEO and do the edit there. And we will do this in a moment. However, the second option is to use the gray layer. So that will be my tip now. So let's go into the layers again, click on plus sign and select the gray layer from the sample files. When the gray layer gets applied, once again, it drops on the top of our layers panel. And then it opens in the layer properties. Just like all the other elements, it gets stretched across the image, which works great for us. And it comes in opacity 50. So we increase it to 100%. And now we need to use the blend modes. So we click on the drop-down box and we select the overlay here. So now as you can see, the gray layer disappeared. So that works for us because now we can add effects to it and we can't see it. Unfortunately, The gray layer doesn't work for all the tools. It mostly works for the color grading tools. However, that's still better than nothing. The advantage of using the gray layer is that I can still go back and adjust the butterflies if I want to. So I don't have to export everything and then work from already exported image. So this is an advantage. So let me show you what we can apply with the gray layer. First, we can jump into our landscape tool and add some nice golden hour glow. So we can do that up to something we like. We can close the landscape layer and then we can move to something like mood tool. In the mood tool, as a part of your sample files, I gave you a nice LUT. And when you click on a choose LUT drop-down box, you can click on add custom LUT file. And there, inside of your sample files, there should be a folder called LUT, and it's the Clever Photographer Elegant LUT. So you click on that, click on add, and it gets applied to your image. Now it's up to you to choose what strength you like to add. I like something around 60. So it looks very, very cool. Let me show you before and after. So I think the result looks very, very nice, and it gives you the advantage of being able to come back and do the adjustments to the butterflies and to all the edits. But let me show you the second option where we would export the picture and do the edits after. So first of all, let's remove the actual gray layer. We're going to do that by going into Layers panel, right click on the gray layer and click on Remove Layer. So now what we want to do, we want to export the file. So we do that by going into the top right corner of our screen and we can click on the export there. From there, we click on disk and that will open the export window. First of all, we can adjust the name of the file. So we just call it after edit. And then we can focus on the settings for the export. The sharpen, leave it on none. Resize, leave it on original. Color space, sRGB. Format, definitely TIFF. Compression, none. Depth, 16 bits. And the resolution, I know that this picture is 300 pixels on inch, so I will leave it that way. If you want to go higher, it's completely up to you, but it will make no difference to this image. So I would usually stick between 300 to 600 pixels per inch. Once we're happy with it, we just click on Save. Now it's going to take a moment to export, but once it's ready, we're going to bring it back into the Luminar NEO and I'll meet you in a catalog module. As I promised, we are in a catalog module and we have our image ready after the export. So again, from here, we need to select it and bring it into edit module. Once we bring it into edit module, we can actually see the nice edit with all the different butterflies around it. Now, very similarly to when we were using the gray layer, we can do different edits to it, but now we can use all the different tools. So let's do a little edit to it. Let's go into our vignette tool, click on choose subject, and that will give us a little cross. So we can select the center of the vignette. So let's select the center around the girl and bring the amount down to create nice vignette around her. After that, again, we can close the vignette tool and jump into the landscape tool. And we can increase the golden hour effect to add some nice glow and golden hour hues. Again, close it and add it to the image. Now we were using the mood tool, so we can do the same. So we click on that. Because we already have our LUT imported, we can just click on the drop-down list. And we just need to find it in the list of the LUTs. And it was the elegant one. And now we can just push the slider to apply the LUT to our image. Again, we can close it and apply it. After that, we can use our mystical tool and just increase the slider of the amount to add some nice glow around it. And to finish it off, I always like to use a little bit of matte effect. So we can use the matte tool, push the slider of the matte tool, and maybe add a little bit of fade to it. So I think that's about it. Let's see the before and after. And I think the difference is huge. And because we're applying it to all the different elements, including the original image, the result looks great. And there you have it. This is how you add butterflies to your images in Luminar NEO. We were using overlays and we were using the layers panel. We also learned how to transform the overlays, how to adjust the size, how to add a little bit of softness and blur to them. And then we learned two different ways of how we can blend everything nicely together. We used the gray layer, which worked very, very well for the color grading. And then we also exported the file, brought it back into Luminar NEO and done further edits to it to get a result like this. And now it's time to get your gift. If you want to get access to our Luminar NEO shortcut cheat sheet, all you need to do is to head to our website cleverphotographer.com/luminargift. And there you can download the cheat sheet and start to use it right away. And there you have it. So I hope you had fun and I hope you learned something new. If you did, please make sure that you like, comment and share our video. And also don't forget to subscribe to our channel so we can keep creating content like this. For today, thank you very much for watching. My name was Jakub and I can't wait to see you in the next video.